Well, thank you very much, everybody. I think perhaps I have a face for radio, but I'm sure if the food wasn't so good, people would be coming in much earlier. But good afternoon, everybody. It's a pleasure to truly be here to touch on Fortescue's efforts navigating the decarbonisation and energy transition frontier. My name is Andrew Hoare, as stated earlier. I'm the Group Manager for Marine at Fortescue. My journey began with Fortescue 2 years ago. I'm lucky enough to have this role and have the privilege of driving Fortescue's mission to decarbonise and be a leading green energy, technology and miner provider to the world. Since starting out as a small exploration company 20 years ago, Fortescue has become one of the largest iron ore producers. That also means we've become a massive carbon emitter. We don't shy away from this, which is why we're diversifying our business to become an integrated green technology, energy, and metals company. Our mission is clear: to supply the world with green solutions it needs to decarbonize, because the only way we can reverse climate change is to stop fossil fuels now. Every day that we continue to release more emissions into the atmosphere, the worse the situation will get. The world needs a solution to fossil fuels, and that solution is green hydrogen. Fortescue emits more than 2.5 million tonnes of CO2 equivalent into the atmosphere every year, from our Australian iron ore operations and our marine vessels, otherwise known as Scope 1 and 2 emissions. We have a bold plan to remove all of these Scope 1 and 2 terrestrial emissions from our iron ore operations and provide to the world that we can run a capital-intensive, heavy industry operation with no carbon emissions and no carbon offsets, or real zero. And we're not waiting around. We're determined to reach this goal by 2030. This will remove 700 million litres of diesel a year from our iron ore operations and deliver significant cost savings. We also acknowledge our Scope 3 emissions profile as a result of shipping our iron ore and converting this to steel, primarily in Asian steel mills, which emits a further 261.5 million tonnes a year. We've also set a stretch target to achieve net zero Scope 3 emissions by 2040. Our entire company is completely dedicated to this mission, and our progress has been extraordinary. From announcing 3 of the world's first green hydrogen and green iron projects to FID, sailing the Green Car Pioneer to COP28, and trialling the world's first battery electric haul truck in the Pilbara, we have outperformed every target we've set ourselves, and we're just getting started. At the UN General Assembly in 2022, we announced a board-level $6.2 billion investment to turn our mining operations green by 2030. We're planning to turn off the diesel, turn off the gas, and completely shift to green energy. We've estimated that we'll need around 2 to 3 gigawatts of solar, wind, and battery storage to support decarbonising our iron ore operations. We have started this journey and will commission our first in-house 100 megawatt solar farm near our Iron Bridge operations midway through this year. These renewables will need to be supported by extensive transmission and on-site electrical infrastructure. Through our Pilbara Energy Connect program, we've constructed 320 kilometres of transmission lines to connect Solomon to Iron Bridge through to Port Hedland, and we've got more to come. We're committed to our real zero target, and this means running our iron ore operations when the sun is shining, when the wind is blowing, or when we've stored enough energy in our batteries. This also means flexing out our operations when the renewable energy isn't available. We call this demand response, and it will be a world first for heavy industry of the scale of our iron operations to achieve. Key to Fortescue's future is green iron and green steel. And to achieve this, we're working with our customers to develop the green solutions needed to decarbonising the steelmaking process, including the signing of an MOU with China Baowu Steel Group to work together on reducing emissions associated with iron and steel making. In our home base of Western Australia, we announced approval late last year for the construction of a green iron ore trial commercial plant at our Christmas Creek site, utilising the hydrogen that we're already producing on site via our green energy hub. This hub has a hydrogen refuelling station running hydrogen buses. We've also fed ore into our low-temperature green iron prototype to produce small volume of metallic iron in the Balcatta. As part of our decarbonisation plan over the next 7 years, we'll be replacing our diesel-consuming mining fleet, including rail, with non-emitting alternatives. Around a quarter of our Scope 1 mining emissions come from our mining haul trucks. So we've been working with our zero emissions battery division, Fortescue WAE, to develop the battery technology needed to decarbonize our mining haul trucks. In early 2023, we finished constructing our first battery electric haul truck prototype, Roadrunner, which you can see here on the screen. Roadrunner brings with it several firsts, including the ability to fast charge in just 30 minutes. It is now undergoing testing at Christmas Creek in the Pilbara, involving the simulation of operational activities, including semi-loaded hauls and uphill starts. We're continuing to work in parallel on a green hydrogen fuel cell haul truck too, which is being built at our Hazelmere testing facility in Perth, before heading to site for operational testing mid-year. Our iron ore mining operation hubs are connected by 760 kilometers of rail, with our locomotives being a major source of carbon emissions. Right now, we're working on zero-emission solutions to decarbonize our rail fleet, such as our ammonia locomotive prototype, which recently achieved its world first banking run. In simple terms, this means pushing the loaded ore train uphill for 100 kilometers. First pass was at 40% substitution for diesel, which is an extraordinary achievement. To decarbonize our rail fleet, we've also purchased 2 battery electric locomotives, which will play a productive role in our operations later this year. And during the last quarter, we deployed Australia's first operational electric excavator at our Cloudbreak operations, the first of what will be an entire excavator fleet capable of removing 95 million litres of diesel per year. Together with Libraire, we have converted an R9400 excavator from a diesel engine to an electric powertrain. This has been commissioned at our Christmas Creek mine site in the Green Energy Hub. So why are we decarbonising? We're doing this not only because it's the right thing to do for the planet, but because it makes business and commercial sense too. For our capital investments, we will generate significant operating cost savings each year. As I mentioned before, these savings will come from the 700 million litres of diesel that we will no longer need to buy, and from the 50 million gigajoules of gas we will no longer need to burn. My view is that fossil fuel volatility is only going to increase from here. Price and availability are volatile, regulatory risks are higher and increasing. By decarbonising, we go to protect ourselves against that volatility, while also gaining access to capital markets. While electrification is critical, it can't achieve total decarbonisation on its own. Green hydrogen is a practical and implementable solution that will revolutionise the way we power our planet, decarbonise heavy industry, and create jobs globally. It is a solution to keep decarbonising anything you can't plug in. By developing green hydrogen projects at scale, we will tap into what will quickly become a $1 trillion per year industry, according to Goldman Sachs. Think about green hydrogen as a battery that stores green energy and allows us to transfer it all over the world to be used as alternative to fossil fuels, for energy, for industry, and for transport. Let me simply explain what we do to make it work. We take renewable energy, hydro, wind, and solar, and transform green electrons into green molecules. We use electrolyzers to do this. In simple terms, we use the green energy to force water through a membrane which exists within the electrolyzer, and that splits the water into hydrogen and the oxygen. The hydrogen we produce is therefore made from green energy and water, so it is completely green. Once we've liberated the green hydrogen, we can sell it locally, for example, to the transport sector, or convert it to green ammonia, which is denser and easier to transport by ship. Then we can put it on a ship and send it to anywhere in the world. We recently announced final investment decision on our first 2 green energy projects, making us one of the first companies globally to have achieved this. Our Phoenix project establishes us as one of the most attractive markets in the world, brought about by the Inflation Reduction Act. The proximity to California, a primary heavy haulage trucking route, and the most progressive US state to adopt incentivized clean hydrogen primes Fortescue well to deliver value into the US domestic market. This project will produce liquid green hydrogen from 2026, ramping up production to 11,000 tons per annum. In Australia, our Gladstone PEM 50 allows us to demonstrate to the market the quality of our proton exchange membrane, or PEM electrolyzer technology. This will be located adjacent to Fortescue's existing electrolyzer facility in Gladstone and produce up to 8,000 tons of green hydrogen per annum from 2025. The Gladstone PEM 50 will give us a pathway to control our supply chain of electrolyzers and position us as only of a handful of global manufacturers of industrial-scale hydrogen systems. During the last quarter, our Holmen project in Norway was awarded €200 million through the European Union's Innovation Fund. We're also working with state and federal governments in Australia on our Gibson Island project in Queensland. We have some more work to do on that project to make the economics work, but if anyone can do it, Fortescue can. Our intent is to take our projects forward with the fiscal discipline Fortescue has shown for 20 years. And now shipping, my favorite topic. We see enormous opportunity for leveraging hydrogen-based fuels like ammonia in the shipping industry. If shipping were a country, it would be the 8th largest emitter in the world. 90% of global trade is carried across our oceans, and the industry accounts for 3% of global greenhouse gas emissions. The shipping of Fortescue's iron ore to our customers accounts for over 3 million tons of CO2 equivalent. We're moving fast to change that, having developed a dual-fuel 4-stroke ship engine to run on ammonia. In March 2023, we conducted the first shore-based ammonia fuel testing on a marine engine in Perth, Australia. Now, we're applying what we've learned into developing the Green Pioneer, the ship that you can see in the video. The demonstrator vessel sailed from its base in Singapore to Dubai for COP28, where it was truly the star of the show. Thousands of people visited the ship during COP, from Secretary John Kerry to the incoming IMO Secretary General and the President of Namibia. The Green Pioneer is a symbol to the world of the technology solutions needed to decarbonize shipping. The Green Pioneer is the world's first gas-fueled ammonia vessel, having achieved this notation with DNV and the Singapore Registry of Ships just last week. The vessel is perfectly suited to run on green ammonia derived from the green hydrogen produced from Fortescue's global portfolio of proposed hydrogen projects, a critical component of the decarbonisation trajectory for shipping. This vessel puts us on a pathway to reducing our Scope 1 and 3 emissions. We are proving to the world that it is possible to change. And as an aside note, you can visit this vessel, which we'll be showcasing in Singapore Maritime Week between the 15th and 19th of April in Keppel Bay. So please reach out if you want to see for yourself what we've achieved. Technology development is a major focus for us. Not only does it underpin our own decarbonisation journey, but it also presents a real growth opportunity from a commercial perspective. Our battery technology work at Fortescue Technical Innovation Centre in Killington, UK for Formula E is world leading. I was honoured to visit the facility there last week, and it is actually outstanding. Our digital software business, Fortescue Battery Intelligence, Elysia system, is highly sought after technology. Green technology development is in our DNA. An example is Fortescue's Boost Charger, an in-race fast charger which will be used like an F1 pit stop. In a mere 30 seconds, the Boost Charger will deliver 4 kilowatt-hour of power, 5 times faster than a standard electric car charger. Our products are in demand the world over, and we're expanding our capabilities to build these products ourselves. We will soon open our purpose-built Banbury manufacturing facility in the UK, and just a couple of weeks ago, we announced support from the Michigan Economic Development Corporation for our Advanced Manufacturing Center in the US, where we first announced during APAC last October. We're investing $35 million US dollars to kickstart this facility, which is expected to become a major hub for Fortescue's production of automotive and heavy industry batteries, hydrogen generators, fast chargers, and electrolyzers. We're also fast-tracking a number of other major projects globally that will position us as a major supplier of green molecules to the world. From Australia, we will supply the Asian market. From Norway and Brazil, we will feed into the European market. And in Kenya, we'll enable the continent to produce essential green fertilizer. We don't believe anyone in the world is currently doing what we are doing at the same pace and scale. By getting our first projects underway now, our first mover advantage places us in the best possible position to realize the value a green energy transition presents. So how are we going to pay for all of this? Well, last year we announced the formation of Fortescue Capital, an asset management business which will raise third-party money from the institutional investors to invest alongside us in all the things that we have to do. We're very blessed to have Robert Cicero to lead Fortescue Capital. Robert and the team are based in New York, the center of the world's capital markets. They have a huge wealth of experience in this area, and they will help us fund all the ambitions that we have ahead of us. After having spent some time at COP28 and the World Economic Forum with top representation from the corporate world, as well as also presenting at the IMO in London last week, Fortescue has been in high demand. We are now recognized as a serious global leader in the green energy, tech, and metals arena, and as a leading green energy and tech light for Australia on the global stage. There was recognition the world must move faster away from fossil fuels to back in the decisions made at COP28, which was encouraging. It is clearer than ever that the decision makers from across the private and political spectrum are united and collaborating on the need to address global warming. Green hydrogen is not just an alternative. It's the purest source of energy the world needs. The question is not whether it will become the next global energy form. It is merely a matter of when. Thank you very much.